Okay, here we go. Hello, beautiful people. Hello. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And if not, I hope that this little chocolate face can is better. So let me welcome you out this evening because I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown and we have a brand new company called Give It to the People. This company is designed to do large scale business conferences and summits, as well as micro gatherings, which are really small events to help business owners and entrepreneurs be able to get the services and the resources that they need. One thing that we do over here at Give It to the People is we have a multifaceted media side to our company. So we have a podcast called Real Ass Affirmations, and we do events that are focused on mental wealth, which for us really means taking the time to think about the things that you need and looking at them from a personal side so that this way you can not just worry about business, but you can also engage in things that make you happy all the way around, a very holistic approach to things. So I wanted to jump on tonight because yesterday my husband and we went on a hike. And so we're calling it The Hike. That's the name of this right here. And I get excited about certain things and I just want to share them. And so one thing that I noticed about myself is I haven't gone live as much as I used to. And I think that, I know where the cause of that is, but sometimes I feel like you just need to express emotion like kind of as soon as it happens, or at least be able to frame it. So with today, I got inspired. I woke up on Sunday and I had just had this overwhelming desire to be in nature. And I knew I wanted to go somewhere. So what I did was I looked on my phone and I wanted to be near a waterfall. And I typed in waterfalls near me. And when I did that, Google brought up a couple of different places. So I chose the place that was closest to me, which is Hanging Rock State Park. I'm in North Carolina, by the way. So part of the reason why I think I was inspired, because I have a friend and she has a company called, let me get this together. She has a company called Brown Girls Hike. And she has been encouraging brown women, Black women, women of color to go on tours outside and to go on hikes. And I felt like this was an important thing for me to be able to do because she's not in the same state that I am, but her influence was definitely something that made me feel like this was the year to really get outside a lot more. And you know why? Because COVID, all right? The vid is everywhere. But when you're out in nature, you don't have to wear your mask. You just get to be you and you get to be free. And you're also not near a lot of people. So this has been a time where I said, well, let's do more of that. So let's just go through the definition of what a hike is. A hike is really a long walk, especially in the country or the wilderness, okay? You don't have to have any specific thing that you're doing aside from you just want to hike. And so one of the things that happens when you walk/hike is that it does build up hopefully some muscle, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, these little muscles were sore afterwards. I don't know if they got built up or if they got broke down, but they was out here in the streets, okay? Hiking in the damn woods. The other thing is, though, it helps to just open your mind because now you're not hearing the sounds of the city. You are in nature's house. And when you get in nature's house, all of a sudden you can hear things that you probably don't realize you don't hear that much. You don't really hear crickets the same way that you used to. Now, unless you live in the deep country, you used to hear crickets in the summertime, right? Where are the damn crickets? All right. You used to hear way more bird sounds. But what happens is we've gotten so used to essentially noise pollution. We're used to hearing sirens. We're used to hearing car engines. We're used to hearing doors close. We're used to hearing just people in general. And nature allows you to not hear those things, which allows you, in my opinion, to kind of focus on yourself and what you really want to do. Right. So I want to thank my friend. Hot Nami is what I like to call her, or we also call her Black Nature. The Mirror Earth, right? I want to thank her for opening my mind up to going outside and making that a priority in life, because I feel like it has definitely changed the scope of the things that I do. I literally look for places where I can go hike, where I can go walk, where I can go sit in the grass and I can be a part of nature, right? And I feel like this is an important thing because when we talk about mental wealth, we want you to have something where, when you talk about wealth, people always think about money. But guess what? Most of the things that you do in nature, you really don't need to spend any money. So now you've saved money, okay? But now you're also opening your mind up to other areas that maybe you weren't focusing on before. And it allows you just freedom, right? Freedom to just run wild when it comes to What do I want to do? Can I figure out something? What's the next step in life? And so I want to tell you about the hike. So basically, this hike, you start up here, you're on the mountain, right? And then you gradually keep going down. Now, this path is beautiful. As soon as you get there, it's trees on all sides of you. The smells are nice and just naturific. It's not even a lot of bugs out there. But the path has rocks on it. Okay. So gravel, but I mean, not just like little teeny weeny gravel, like some big ass rocks, like rocks, but then also like the rocks are like this size, right? Like when you're going down the hill. So I made sure to tell my husband to make sure, look, don't try to wear the cute sneakers. Let's wear the good sneakers and let's have something with some traction so that we can get down, because I know, what people have said online. And one of the things I did was reviewed and, check the reviews online, and people were like, look, it's going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes to walk down, but it is down and it's going to be way more difficult to come back up. So just know that. So if you have like medical problems or something, this may not be for you. This is not the bring your kid in a stroller kind of thing. People need to be able to walk, right? Or you need to have the ability to carry people. So I know all these things going in, but guess what? Nothing can prepare you for what you actually feel when you get out there. So things that you feel are like the heat, right? Now, the girl has no plays, no games. First of all, I already brought my own food and I brought my own drinks, okay? Because just in case a bitch get lost in the woods, I need to have something to eat. I don't need to be trying to cut my husband up and trying to eat him. So we bought food. We bought lunch, right? I bought a blanket so we could sit outside so we wouldn't be directly on the ground just in case. I bought off, and I bought my fan. And I had the kind that just, you hold in your hand and it just goes around and it just gives you the air, okay? Because I'm prepared. All right. Now, in that, I wore a dress, but I wore some biking shorts up underneath it. I was comfortable. Everything was flowy. Nothing was tight, all loosey goosey. So that this way the air could blow through and breeze through for the girl. Okay. So all of that happened. But what was really important was we knew that once we read the map, which direction we needed to go. Right. In addition to that, it kind of told you about how long it was going to be till you got to the actual waterfalls, which is what we were trying to get to. But it didn't tell you all of the different things that you were going to encounter on the way to the waterfalls. So everything's fine. Then when you get down there are these huge, like, let's call them man-made steps. I am 5'2" and my husband's 6'2". So he's able to just go down the steps like it's nothing. These steps were huge for me. So I'm literally having to stop at the end and then just jump down to the next step. All right. Now, part of that is because I'm super short, but part of it is you want to slow down. You don't want to go too fast, because if you do, that ass is falling face forward on the rocks, or you're going to go sideways and now you're in the bushes, and then you might go down in the bushes. So you have to think about how far you're falling, right? But you could hear it. So on the way down, I'm getting even more excited because I can hear the water. I'm like, oh shit, we right near the water. Let's get to this waterfall, right? And we get there and we're walking down and walking down. And as I get to the last step, that was the big one, it was this Black couple that was coming up the stairs. And the husband was like, oh my God, let me help you, because this is the biggest step on your way down. So here's a person I don't even know that's just willing to help. My husband gets in front of me so that this way, I can come down. The gentleman's holding, making sure that I'm okay behind. His wife is coming up and he's helping his wife up. And then, we speak, we say nice little fun things, and then we get along, right? And so then we go down the path. And when we get down there, when I'm telling you, beautiful, when I'm telling you serene, when I'm telling you the sound of the waterfall, the water is just trickling. It's big rocks all over the place. You can see how you can go up the side to where the waterfall is. You can go up behind the waterfall. And then it's this like brook kind of thing that's going down with bigger rocks, but you can walk downward if you want to. So I'm like, oh my God, this place is Instagram worthy. And I'm like, now let's take these pictures. Let's take pictures. Let's do some videos and all of that. So we do all of the pictures and the videos. And then as we get ready to proceed to go down a little bit, right, to go sit down, another couple comes up and then they just come into the water. They jump into the water and everything, right? And they take their shoes off and everything. And they're just having a good time, just frolicking. And me and my husband, we're sitting on the side and I'm like, okay, well, now it's lunchtime because the girl is hungry, right? So we sit there on the rocks and I give him his sandwich. And he gives me my sandwich and gives me the drink. And we're sitting there and we just sat and we just looked and we're like, this is beautiful. And luckily the other couple wasn't loud. So we're sitting there and we are just taking in the vibe. The meditation sounds and the music that I got from the hike filled my spirit. I literally sat there at one point and did my breathing exercises to breathe in, hold it, breathe out, and continue. And I did that for about like 2, 3 minutes just to like center myself and get myself into a space where I'm like, you know what I want? I want to be able to build this like wherever I'm at. And even though I know that I can't just, take a waterfall and I can't take a mountain and I can't bring that to wherever I'm at, what I can do is I can bring that feeling wherever I'm at. And that was an important thing for me, was to bring the feeling, that calmness, that oasis, that safeness, all of that was an important factor for me. So I'm thinking it's beautiful, it's peaceful until humans come in. So then a family of like 6 comes in. They are running wild, they're all over the place. It was another family of 4. The little girl is crying because she scraped the toe because she had on sandals and she didn't have on sneakers, and they got a dog. And then all of a sudden, like, all of this noise is happening. And I want you to understand this. At first, it was like a little teeny weeny bit, and then it just kept getting increasingly louder. Whenever you are in your place and you have peace, there will always be something that comes along to try to destroy that, no matter what. Now, since it's a public park, we can't kick the people out. We have no right to tell them to shut the hell up, even though they're destroying our peace. But what you have to realize is the peace that we felt, the noise and the calamity and the familyness of the other people that were there, guess what? That may have been peace for them. Like them getting out of the city, them being together as a family, because then in one family you had teenagers and they're just running all over the place, right? So for us, it's like calamity. But for them, it was just something that was important for them to do together as a family. So of course, like I said, we're just sitting here like, okay, once it got another set of families, so now we're in the third set of family, we decided that, look, instead of us just being here with all of these people, because then it felt like the walls were closing in, let's take the peace that we have and let's move on with that peace and let's keep going to something different, which was back to the car, right? So now, after we do all of this, then you have to climb back up the mountain. It was already like a nice little something going down, but just to get up from where we were at the waterfall to the first landing, I'm like, woo, I know I'm going to need a couple of breaks before we get back to the car. Like, this is almost a mile walk back and everything is uphill. Now, we got to our destination. It was beautiful. We spent our time. We had our lunch. We had our piece of peace. And then what happened was we had to get back to our destination, right? So what I need you to understand is that on the way back up, the climb wasn't as easy, right? The climb wasn't as easy because then you had those hills and you would just keep looking and it was another hill and another hill and another hill. Now, luckily, in between these hill parts, they had some seating where you could sit down and catch your breath. And at the first hill, I'm like, yo, I really got to sit down. Like, I'm winded. So what I discovered on the hike is, bitch, you're fat. Okay. And because of some of your fatness and because you're not working out, that's why you are experiencing all of this hyperventilation that's happening here. And I was just like, oh my God, like if I didn't know before, now's the time where you really feel like you might really need to work out because you should not be this winded at this point in time, right? So we get to the first one. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need to stop. So then we get up to the next one. And I'm like, look, I really don't think I can make it right now. So my husband, he then is the motivated cheerleader. He gets behind me. He said, look, if you can make it to that rock, you can make it to that bench. So I said to him, okay, I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure. He's like, you can do it. And he literally gives me a little nudge, a little push on the back. And he's like, come on, I'm with you, right? So I say to him, I'm just like, okay, once we got to that point, thank you so much. And let's sit down and rest. So we rested about 10 minutes, right? And he's like, my point of view is, well, I'm just going to keep going because I know I need to keep going until the end. And I know that the end is coming up. So I'm just going to keep going. And I don't want to stop. I don't like the stopping. And I'm just like, listen, I know me and I know my body. And my body said she needs to stop every so often. Okay. And when we got up to get to the next thing, I told him, I said, so look, I'm going to need to stop again, but I want you to continue. Now, why did I do that? Because I'm not here to hold anybody up. Okay. You could be great on your own. And so let me tell you what I said. I said, well, you keep going until you get to the car. And when you get to the car, turn on that air conditioning and stop and get me one of those slushies because there was a food vendor up there serving slushies. I said, so the car can be cooled off by the time I get up there. But it wasn't just about that. It was about me knowing my boundaries. It was about me knowing this one specific thing. We're going to the same destination, but we might not get there at the same time. And that is okay. We're going to the same destination and we might not get there at the same time, but that is okay. And the reason that that's okay is because I know that you have the best intentions for me. I know that you as an individual have to do what you need to do. But I also know when I get my ass in that car, we're going home together. I know that we have a place to be at together. I know that even though one of us may be faster at one thing than the other, we will be together. It will be us, you, me in the car, and we're all going home, right? But this is the thing. Nobody's coming to save you. Now, he is not going to come down there and pick me up and carry me to the car. Nobody else was going to come pick me up and carry me to the car unless like I was hurt and there was some paramedics or something like that. So I knew it was my responsibility to get me and all of this beautifulness to the car. Now, just mind you, I didn't look like this because of course a bitch was sweating. Okay. But we were still cute and chocolate, but I'm just telling you, like, you realize when you're climbing up a mountain, when you're on the hike, that you still have some place to go, right? That there are going to be hurdles, that there are literally rocks on the way, that this path was not paved. There was a path that was cut out, but it wasn't paved, which would have made it even easier to get up. So just think about this. Your path is not necessarily paved. You have already kind of carved out a way that you want to get to things, but you don't know exactly where it's going to end. You don't know what pitfalls are going to be in there. Sometimes you can't see the hills. Sometimes a small incline is worse than a hill. But guess what? You can make it. And that's the biggest thing that I think we need to learn in this lesson when we talk about the hike. Because on the hike, I told them I can't go the same speed as you. I'm literally a foot shorter than you. So you keep going. I'm also saying to you, prepare for us to be successful, right? Prepare for that to happen. And in preparing for that, that meant rehydrate the girl, right? And that also meant go get me a muscadine slushie. Never had a muscadine slushie before. When I'm telling you it was delicious, it was so delicious, it doesn't even make any sense, right? So it was a reward at the end. Now, I'm a person who loves accolades and rewards. If I know that there's a reward at the end, if I know that there's something to look forward to, I am more motivated. And I need you to understand that you completing your journey, you completing your task, you completing your hike, whatever that hike may be, the reward of it is accomplishment, that you've done it. You don't know how many people have done it, haven't done it, couldn't do it. And just as an example, when we're on the way back up, there's a couple, an older couple, which looked like they were probably in their late 60s, maybe early 70s. And they were walking down. And we were just looking at them like, oh, okay, all right, get it, little old couple. Now, as we sat down at that second stop, right, the old couple came back up. And the old couple said, look, we got down there, we looked at those stairs, and we were like, nah, we're not doing it. And I was just like, okay, we understand. We know how treacherous it was. So there are people that can walk along your same path, but can't complete it, right? So they had a nice little walk, but they didn't get to hike to get to the waterfall. So they only saw a portion of it. Now, it could be old age. It could be that they knew their limitations. But guess what? They climbed back up that hill together too, all right? And so when you look at just how things transpire in your life, there's always going to be a hike. But is there a reward at the end? And I would just posit that, yes, there is a reward at the end. You completing something, okay? And you being in nature, you being able to have a piece of peace to take with you. I am an experienced person. Being a lifestylist for me means that I'm more concerned with the things that fill my mind and my soul than I am with materialistic things. So for me, that experience of going up there, guess what it did for me? It told me that I could do it. Number one. Number two, it also told me I want to go back. Now I want to go back because there was another set of waterfalls that I could have went to that was a little bit further down, and it was another 0.2 miles, but that just wasn't the day for that. So I now can go back and have a different experience. I could also go back to the same falls, and this time I would probably bring a professional photographer, honey, and I would shoot, and I would be just giving the girls what they really need to see. But I just was out there just doing things with my honey, right? But it also said there is an ability that you have to take a moment and bring that moment with you. And one thing that you have to realize, when people get old, you know what they remember? Smells and sounds, right? They can see things in their mind, but they remember smells and they remember sounds. So when we get older, the things that we owned, they're not going to be as important. But the places that we go and the people that we're with, and the sights, the smells, that feeling, nobody's ever going to be able to take that from you, because that's something that's inherently inside of you. So with this, I want you to think about, it was time well spent. Okay. We did something together as a couple, but we did something that was mentally wealthy for us as individuals. And that to me is what's super important about the hike. So in addition to that, I want to let you know something. You might not be able to go on that hike, all right? But you can do your own hike. And maybe your own hike is not going into the woods because maybe you don't like the woods. But you can hike in your own neighborhood. You can even hike on a in your own house if you needed to, right? Because it's that walk. Now, even if it's not out in nature like that, what I'd love for you to do is check out our meditation music that we have, because we have meditation music that mimics the kind of feelings of being outside, that mimics the feelings of nature, and that can also help calm you and soothe you and help you just have a better life in general. So I use our meditation music to clean. I use it to get work done. I use it sometimes to go to sleep, because I know that me thinking about something that is not your everyday thing, me having a sound that calms me, is a thing that is important for me when it comes to, well, what am I really going to do to stay focused? And I feel like that stream, that waterfall, that whole entire experience allowed me to focus my energy on what I want to do and who I want to be. And who I want to be is a person who gets to explore more places. Who I want to be is a person who has their husband with them, and you can do it together. I want to be able to hike up that hill together. I want to be able to hike down the hill together. I want to be able to sit on a rock together, right? So for me, when I look at like, what's the most important things, it is experience. Experience to me is so much more important. And I think that now, especially in this time that we live in, when we've been locked up and essentially caged up, being able to be free in the way that you see fit is something that nobody else can give to you. Right. And even if you are in a place, let's say you work in a cubicle every day, you can free yourself mentally if you have the sounds, if you have that feeling, and if you have that vibe. You can take that with you. Even though I said I can't physically take that waterfall and I can't take that forest, I can take that idea with me and I can create it myself. So what I've done here in my home is created my own little meditation space. It's a chair. It's a nice little background. It's some real flowers. I have a little quartzy kind of rock thing. And what else do I have? I have a hourglass, because if I feel like I need to meditate, I get my phone, I turn on my headset, I put it on, and then I get into my little meditation. So whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, I have my own time to myself where I can just zone out. And what happens afterwards is either I get a lot of energy and I want to do something positive and something that, solves a problem for me, something that gives me creativity, or I get calm enough to where I'm like, okay, well, look, I want to sleep. I just want to chill out right now. Usually, though, it motivates me to do something else, because when you take the time to focus on you, it's amazing what can happen from that. So in addition to that, we also decided to give you a place where you can find the hike. So we have a hike list. Now, this hike list is going to contain places in North Carolina, specifically in the Triad, where you can get mental wealth at. So I've put down a couple of different places where you can go get some beauty treatments, some places where you can have some body treatments, but then also places to be outside that we've already visited. And so when I'm telling you that there are some amazing spaces, and maybe you just need to open your mind to finding something new to do, or maybe you don't live in the Triad area of North Carolina and you plan on traveling to North Carolina, this can give you some places when you come here. Now, even if you're not here and you don't plan on traveling, you can find places exactly like this in your own location, wherever you're at. Because I posit that for the most part, there's something similar to it, even if it's simulated, right? So for us, I want you to go to payhip.com/Chisa Pennix-Brown. And that is where you can get the meditation music. And it's only $7. It gives you 7 songs and it's over 7 hours worth of music on there. So each one is about an hour and that will help you meditate. And then if you just want to donate, if you feel like, and you want to get that list, it's completely free, but you can donate $1, $2, whatever you feel like you want to donate. Because everything that we do is really here to help you be a better person for yourself mentally, to help you professionally, but then also personally. And I think that when you start to really, really tune into yourself, it helps you to be a better person for everybody else as well. And so your business deserves a person that's calm. Your business deserves a person that's decisive. It also deserves a person that can actually put the business down for a little bit and then come back to it when necessary. And in doing this, in taking your hike, now mine is the hike, right? In taking your hike, you can find yourself and you can find new purpose and you can have clarity in the things that you want to do. And in addition to that, you can get some exercise. I mean, so that's good too, right? So what the hike did for me, aside from all of those wonderful things that I just mentioned, is it gave me another little boost of confidence because I did it, right? So what happened as a result of that is I woke up again the next morning. And the next morning I said, let's go for a walk. And we went for a walk for a whole nother hour in the neighborhood. We walked our steps and we did have a little sit down and had a conversation. And we came to a realization that the life that we've created is great, but it could be even better. And part of that means changing your diet. Part of it means actually being active. Part of it means thinking about what you want to do to grow your business and really utilizing your skill sets to the best advantage. So this is exactly why we have created the Give It to the People Small Biz Summit, which will be January 7th, 2022. Because in our conversations, what we're able to do is ascertain the pieces that go into making a whole entire person, but also just relationships and how they work and what can make you feel better and what you can offer to the whole, right? So if you want to come to our summit, it's definitely for entrepreneurs, business owners that are doing things full time, but also people that are thinking about, do I want to do a side hustle? Do I want to do a business? And what do I need to do to make those things mesh? I don't think there's a thing as like work-life balance. I hate when people say that, but there is a thing as focusing on what you need to focus on right now and realizing that some of the things that you want to focus on are not the shit right now. They're the shit for later. Okay. And just getting your shit together, just prioritizing. So this is what we'll help you do if you come out with us in January. And you can go to giveittothepeople.com and you can register for our summit. And it is virtual and it's also in person. And what we've learned in the hike is definitely something that you can use in your everyday life. But we use a thing called the CALM method, which is what? To clarify, to align, to learn, and to magnify. So we'll be showing you that method in January, and we'll be doing some videos and some interviews in between now and then. But I just want to thank you for taking the time today to listen to the hike, to hear my story, and hopefully to be able to take this story and utilize it for yourself, for your friend, for your family member, for your loved one, for your significant other, to help them understand that everybody has their own hike. Going down the road is a lot easy, right? Going down that mountain is easy. But it's so much harder when you climb up. And whenever you want to achieve something, you have to understand that there's going to be a climb up. There's going to be different skill sets that you have to use, but it's still the same you And you need to figure out what pace you need to go. You need to figure out when you need to stop, when you need to pause, when you need to breathe, when you need to just let things be, who you need to let go of in order to get where you need to get, and who's going to be there at the end of that path, at the end of that hike, to really help build you up and lift you up. All of those things are extremely important. And I hope that today I've been able to shed a little insight. I hope that, you'll gain some type of perspective, and then you can let me know about your hike. So feel free to leave a message here. Feel free to follow us. Just go to giveittothepeople.com and register. And feel free to, keep connecting at Chisa Pennix-Brown, ChisaPennix BROWN. And that's on Instagram. You can check me out. You can go to ChisaPennix-Brown.com and you can also connect there. We'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to see you in January at the Give It to the People Summit. Thank you so much for listening to The Hike. Make sure that you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people.